Good evening, everyone, and I'm coming to you tonight from Denver, Colorado. We flew in early this morning, last night, um, and it was a very interesting flight. We had a lot of turbulence on our way, um, so I don't think I'd been on that turbulent of a flight before. Pretty much just kind of shook the entire time. Um, Interestingly enough, generally, I always thought like when you face that chronic kind of consistent turbulence, that the pilots like to fly above the weather, and it seems like we were flying at a lower altitude. I don't know if there was another reason for that, but it was definitely not the most fun of flights. I did get a little bit of sleep, but it was a little stressful, and I was very glad to be here. We were about 15 minutes delayed in arriving. Um, Once we got in and got off the plane into baggage collection, the airport was huge here, um, and it took us probably 20 to 30 minutes to get to our baggage after we caught the train uh, from the station that we landed into the baggage claim, and then from there we actually got on the RTD, the metro line for Denver, um, over to Union Station. And once we got to Union Station, uh, that was an experience as well. There were quite a few people um, out at Union Station. A lot of a lot of interesting characters out at that time in the morning for sure. So we got from Union Station. Uh, we caught an Uber from Union Station here to our uh, kind of condo hotel. This is Casa Lodi, I think is what it's called. It's like a rental condo kind of thing. It's all kind of e-commerce set up. So when you get here, nobody checks you in or anything. You have a code that you're given to the building and to your room, or to your apartment rather. And it's nice, very well appointed, like any kind of VRBO that we've been in before. Um, so definitely something. At first, we were like, "Well, this is kind of out away from everything, you know." But uh, as you guys maybe have seen from my reel this morning, 2 miles away, we were able to get to uh, both the Westin. We passed the Westin downtown just walking, and uh, the Sam's number 3 is where we had breakfast, which was incredible. Definitely recommend that place if you come here. I know it's kind of a tourist magnet kind of place. It's a huge restaurant, but it was really good. And So yeah, lots of fun so far here in Denver. I did go ahead and get registered for the convention. As you saw today, if you follow me on Facebook, at my personal Facebook page, Jared Payne, or at Chronically PWS, I posted up images of the abstracts, the research abstracts, about all the different subjects that they had presented on during the research symposium portion of the conference. So tomorrow's the family conference, and I'll be attending that. But yeah, there were quite a few interesting findings, and I'll kind of go over what I thought was really interesting. I've got those images right here to look at. Um, so, so far it's been really, really kind of a cool little trip. Um, Let me see. Let's talk about those abstracts here. And I know many of you might have caught Dr. Miller's presentation about DCCR earlier today, and uh, about new findings with that. I know that's a really big thing, and an awesome treatment for hyperphagia, um, basically changing the whole behavioral profile of hyperphagia and easing the symptom for kids with Prader-Willi syndrome. And amazing medication, amazing results are happening with that medication. Um, I want to do some more research myself just about the fun, the how that works chemically in the brain. Um, I want to go back and watch a little bit more of those presentations about it. But the families that I've talked to and kind of heard from that have been using that medication or involved in that study, it's worked really well for. So really, really, really great thing, positive results that are happening with that. And I know it's just a wonderful thing. A lot of people are ecstatic about it, and I'm really excited to see again how this is going to change the lives of our kids and uh, of kids like me growing up. How it's going to help them. So let's see. Wanted to kind of go through some of the other um, these abstracts here that I'd imaged or made a scan of earlier today, and just some things that I found more interesting. And like I said, go back and review these if you wish. And I'll also post these to Instagram as well. And I do kind of apologize. This is a little bit informal, but it's been a long day. Actually, the place was 2 miles away. The where we walked to, and then we went from there, and then we went to the state capitol, and that was really, really a cool experience to see that. And so, all in all, I did close to 10,000 steps today. So 9,800 is what my number was. I think my wife had a few more, although I don't know if she walked as much as I did, but her phone registered a few more steps. So again, studying the group from the School of Veterinary Medicine, looking at novel approaches for not novel approaches, but looking at sorry, kind of skip around here with the images, but I just wanted to go through each of them and kind of just briefly point out things I thought were interesting. So basically, hormonal regulation through the mRNA protein reproduction in the brains of mice, and how that specific basically studying that if they made these genetic modifications to the mice, that what exactly the behaviors were being produced that the mice were showing with hyperphagia. So basically just proving that. And then this new methylation test and genetic subtyping, and basically a new approach. And this is done by the University of Washington. They're working on a new methylation test, genetic methylation test. It's kind of like a single test that will do a full subtype and kind of pick out immediately from the one test the genetic diagnosis for Prader-Willi. Because right now, if you have, they can detect if there's an error in the methylation, but then they have to do a further subtyping to figure out whether it's a deletion or the UPD, the uniparental parental disomy, and they're trying to work on a novel way to basically do that as one test, which is awesome. Um, there was one that was just kind of different to me, where a nutritional company was working on foods that had more omega-6 fatty acids in these like protein bars, as a way to find satiety or to decrease the hyperphagic response in not only Prader-Willi syndrome, but they were testing it with individuals with Prader-Willi syndrome, but just others as well. But just at how, protein bars that focus mainly on omega sixes and how that can help satiety for individuals. So that was kind of interesting, but there wasn't a whole lot of information conveyed within that abstract that I saw, other than just the idea of it. And again, I may get some comments later if you watch this and I'm presenting this information, and you need to chime in on what I didn't grasp about what was being presented. But from what I saw, that's what I gleaned from it. Let's see. Sleep studies, polysomnograms, of course, for basically an approach to a study that they're doing, kind of evaluating ABA therapy and techniques to engage at bedtime to essentially help with sleep, by doing routines and different reinforcements that are kind of common with ABA, to help have the therapeutic, a non-medicinal but therapeutic approach to sleep medicine, for those concerns at bedtime, those ABA tools, which is kind of cool. Let's see. Gastric bypass. There was an abstract about that. And I know that's kind of come up in the support forums here recently. And I've had gastric bypass. Many of you know this. I've had Roux-en-Y, and then I had a distal revision of Roux-en-Y, because the initial Roux-en-Y, I had weight regained with that after so many years. So they, again, biliopancreatic diversion, gastric sleeve, laparoscopic banding, basically saying that, it's not, there's not death that ends up from that, based upon their study. And I know for a lot of us, it's kind of on the, there's a lot of, you don't want to restrict somebody gastrically who is at high risk for having a gastric rupture. And I fully agree and understand, and I agree with that. And that sentiment, again, I'm not imputing on their observations and their research, but they're, knowing, it's pretty understandable the functions of gastric surgery. So understanding that, if you put restrictions in the gastric system for someone who's at a high incidence of rupture, that can end very poorly. So understand that. I think that when the meat hit, when push comes to shove, the useful applications for Prader-Willi syndrome in gastric surgeries, are going to come more from the balancing of metabolism to malabsorption. And I think that there needs to be maybe some research in, is malabsorption for Prader-Willi syndrome long term, is that detrimental to are there other problems going to occur from malabsorption? And can that be mitigated in some way through procedure and our understanding of the gastric tract? And then, based upon physical differences in the gastric tract, is there some understandings that even the layperson that does, not the layperson, but the gastric surgeon who's doing surgeries on the entire population, on everyone, is there something that they need to be in consideration of when they perform this on Prader-Willi syndrome specifically? So, which brings me to another study that they did that I thought was really fascinating for me personally, and that was about the swallowing, and how there was this study was basically stating there was a decreased swallowing contractions in the study that they did of those with Prader-Willi syndrome. And for me, that made a lot of sense because I had some issues when I had my own swallowing study. I was probably when I started having some really bad problems with rumination, gastric rumination and problems like that. I think I was like 16 or so. And what they found when they did that initial swallowing study is that I had no muscle control in the upper sphincter. So I had the peristalsis was slower and not as coordinated or accordionated. If you think of like your esophagus being an accordion, like it just didn't work that well. And then I had this like not strong upper reflex in the upper sphincter, the swallowing. So there were things there for me that were abnormal. So the fact that that was kind of validated in the study, I thought was very interesting about that. So, and that, really, when you think about it developmentally, not that there isn't anything anatomically different necessarily about those with Prader-Willi syndrome. It's just because of the hypotonia that you face, that kids face when they're born. Does that long-term hypotonia, does that really affect the swallowing, the swallowing muscles long-term beyond just kind of rehabilitating from the hypotonia and growing through that? So I believe it did for me. So again, really interesting finding there. So again, I've posted these scans of the different abstracts, and like I said, I'm excited tomorrow to start the family conference, and we're going to get kind of a preview of all the research again that was done, and research presentations there. And I'm excited to meet people that I've befriended on Facebook and Instagram and just on the internet, just to meet these people. And I know Maria was there today. I saw her earlier, Maria Picone from the Trend Project. Yeah, so really, really good day so far. We didn't, again, it really wasn't the plan to do too much today. I just wanted to get over there and get registered and see these abstracts. So tomorrow, again, we've got more that we're going to talk about, but it was a wonderful first day. We're having a great time. You can see this is a really nice place that we got set up with, a great deal on it. And Kathy's really enjoying it, and we're really happy to have this time to kind of experience something new and novel together. And we were talking about maybe being able to come back to Denver one day and experience it and see other things as well. We want to try to arrange to get up and see maybe the Red Rocks. We're trying to work on that, trying to arrange a little trip where we can kind of go and see things, see the natural beauty of this area a little bit more too. But so far, just experiencing the city of Denver, walking around and, um, uh, you know, um, seeing the Capitol building today and the pedestrian bridges and walkways and just the city has really been pleasant. It makes me homesick for Asheville a little bit. Denver reminds me of a big sprawling Asheville in a lot of ways, very artsy. Um, and yeah, there are a lot of characters here too. So uh, interesting. We got on free transit today. That was pretty fun. And um, you know, I said, I told Kathy, I said, it feels like part of this is like there's this big dichotomy between the people that are extremely healthy, and you can tell people are power walking everywhere and riding bikes and doing things like that. And then there's this like evidence of mental health issues everywhere with other people. So there's like, okay, everybody's physically great here, but mentally, maybe not so much. And that, again, we're going through an epidemic of mental health right now. I think we have been for gosh, the last 20 years or so, or even longer. But just an interesting, fun time here. And I encourage, if you haven't been to Denver, uh, it is a neat little place to visit so far. Like I said, we just got here, so I haven't fully formed an opinion about it, but we're on our way, and we're just really enjoying this time. And again, if you have any questions about anything that I've discussed here, you're welcome to chat either now or later. Uh, drop me a comment or whatever on this video. And again, I'll be doing this again tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern Standard, 7:30 Mountain, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, so lots of fun, and looking forward to having a great day tomorrow too. And I will be again posting more video. The two additional lives that I'm planning to do here from Denver, and probably at the Westin tomorrow night. So, and not here from our hotel, but going to do that. And then on the Perk Bopper channel, I'm going to try to post some other kind of travel related things as well about Denver. So, lots of fun, and I hope to see you again tomorrow night, and I'll discuss some more of what I found out and maybe who I meet. And yeah, I hope everyone's having a great week, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye bye.